Despite its impressive length, it's a nimble navigator, and some can be highly venomous.
19th Amendment, great idea.
Just like the tarantula it's killing, the centipede has two curved, hollow fangs which inject paralyzing venom.
Many such cases. Don't get
This
dunked on,
centipede is a predator.
The white women, they just don't stand a chance.
Shut up, nerd.
Democracy is cringe. Read some Aristotle.
How are you employed? Do you know anything about politics?
My son single-handedly causing the Great Depression.
Centipede.
Wow. Bro, you look like pizza. Get owned, Europe. Get owned, Grandma. My shirt says vagina on it, Grandma. You're getting totally owned right now, Grandma.
Have a nice night, asshole.
We are all 14 and husky. You're a false prophet. You have evil working within you, you lizard. Because the people that we have here that are just like you. Ignorant, self-righteous, entitled NPCs.
You can't foil the Doyle.
Centipedes are voracious predators.
My producers are actually telling me that this attack just came from Japan, but that doesn't mean that we can just declare it as a Japanese attack. That's actually exactly what that means. There's a difference between causing something and acting in ways that directly result in something. Literally, there is not. Thousands of American lives were just lost, but you want to waste time with me in a semantics battle over what words I'm using or how I'm labeling this crisis? Where are your priorities at?
You're fired.
What brings me joy is that these companies are so biased, so pretentious, so arrogant. They really think that everything that they report is fact. But then a website like Breitbart is fake news. Huffington Post was co-founded by Andrew Breitbart, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. And the funny thing is the reason he did that is because he wanted a place to exist where the leftists could really showcase how radical they'd become, and he would be happy to know that that is still serving its purpose quite well. The government of my country is dumb. They only know like 6 things, and at least 4 of them aren't even true. I mean, if hearing the confirmation of what everybody with an IQ above 100 already knew, that there was no collusion, if hearing that after 2 years doesn't make you angry, you should really evaluate your state of mind, because this is how we lose. This is how we lose. Because the narrative has been spread ad nauseum for the last 2 years, and now the media doesn't even have the dignity to issue retractions or apologize or admit that they were wrong. So now you've got a huge imbalance between the people that still believe this has actually happened and the people that know the truth, because of course they're not going to issue a retraction. They're not going to admit that they were wrong. They're going to try and sweep this whole thing under the rug. And actually, excuse me. It's not that they were wrong, they were lying. There's a big difference between lying and being incorrect, and that difference is, of course, intent. And the media were intending on undermining the legitimacy of the Trump presidency. They were intending on further dividing and polarizing the country, and they should be tried for treason. You are a joke, buddy. You're a disgrace to the field of journalism, and your ancestors are frowning upon you. It doesn't matter how much you hate President Trump, how much you hate conservatives, how much you want to hashtag resist. The reality is that you make a living by writing hit pieces, unentertaining hit pieces on other human beings, sometimes with cherry-picked facts to back it up. Sometimes. You are a joke. I don't understand why so many of you are Marxists. I mean, you better pray to God or the flying spaghetti monster, whatever you guys believe in, that your utopia is never instilled, because when Comrade Cortez finds out that your only skill is writing condescending hit pieces, but you're also a f***ing soy boy that can't move more than 20 pounds of grain at a time, I think it would be better if we just shot you. It's a sad day for American journalism, as many talented and brave reporters have been put out of work amidst an unforgiving cycle of layoffs. American journalists, the patriots that broke stories like Watergate, and they weren't journalists. They worked at BuzzFeed and the Huffington Post, just for clarification. I can't do that with a straight face. The 2020 Democrats are thinking of brave new ways to buy votes for this upcoming election, because apparently they've finally begun to understand that just comparing Trump to Hitler is only going to excite the people who were already delusional enough to vote for them in the first place. And so now they've decided to preach climate alarmism to the American people, claiming that this battle is just as hard as World War II, if not harder. And if we don't fix it, we're all going to get cancer and die. And by the way, we've got about a little over a year to start fixing it, or else it's going to be too late. That's right, just in time for the election, coincidentally, I'm sure. You have a young generation of people just so obsessed with science. They're like, oh yeah, man, science. Look at my NASA t-shirt. Yeah, I love science, women in STEM. And then some leftist writes an op-ed that says the world's gonna end in 18 months. They're like, oh no, I must tweet. And then it's like, hey, you know, that's not true. They're like, how dare you? How dare you deny science? Without science, you would not be. It's like questioning science, which, by the way, is a very important aspect of science. It's like similar to blasphemy for these people. They just worship science. And the reason for that is they believe that science has all the answers, and that provides them with a sense of security and control in their lives. But the problem is that science is very often wrong. Science is fake. Your interest in science is fake because you think it makes you look smart. You know how I know you're not smart? You spent at least $100 to let your neighbors know that you don't think lynching black people is a good idea. You're like you're Chicken Little, like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sea levels are rising. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says we have 18 months left to live. It's like, easy there, just take a breath. How do you know that? And they're like, well, I don't really know that, but our politicians told me so, and then it has to be true because I'm a young liberal, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez taught me how to make macaroni and cheese on Instagram Live. And if you can't trust her, well, who the hell can you trust? I truly believe that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is incapable of logical thought. And every time I hear her speak, I'm reminded of every debate or argument or even conversation I've ever had with young liberal women. They're all just like her. And some are actually even more rational, but it's all about the same. And so with her Instagram story, she makes the argument against the Electoral College because, well, the Founding Fathers brought the 3/5 compromise. They denied women the right to vote and actually denied rights to pretty much everyone. What kind of statement is that? What kind of statement is that from an elected official? The Founding Fathers, they actually denied rights to pretty much everyone. She has like a 14-year-old girl who's ill-equipped for a class presentation, which actually that basically summarizes her entire career. She's just got this abyss, right, in her head. It's just so empty, and so anything that gets in there just stays there, just absorbs in there. So she reads some simple-minded assessment of the Electoral College. She goes, yes, you do believe in democracy? You idiot, haven't you read any book ever? Their thoughts are so heavily reliant on things that sound warm and cozy. I feel like every time I'm interacting with these people, it's like I'm confessing to a child that Santa Claus doesn't exist. They're whimpering but what about our democracy? He's like, what democracy? Where is it? It never existed. Who told you we have a democracy? Elizabeth Warren. It's and you believed her? It's well, so you're saying we're not all equal? Yeah. Whoever told you that you were equal to anyone else? They lied to you. You're not equal to me. You're not equal to yourself. Everyone is different. We're equal in the sense that we're all human beings, and therefore we're entitled to the protections of our God-given rights. But we are not equal in any other sense. Everybody knows that. You even know that. Sit down with a pen and paper and just reason something out for yourself for once, please. Take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and just think, well, I guess I'm smarter than some people, but some people are smarter than me. But I have noticed that I work a bit harder than those people. So, this is all quite intricate. Yes, exactly. That's why we protect the rights of the individual. People are like, oh, well, women's rights, trans rights. What are you even talking about? Individual rights. That's the whole point. Anything else is immoral. But AOC is a woman whose maturation seems to have capped at about 15, so she can't really recognize that because she wants to have an epic clapback moment on Twitter so that she can siphon dopamine via the approval of lonely women and pathetic men.
John Doyle